I think it was a real turning point for WMEA. In my presidency, I had witnessed some great people being present who I admired as music educators and doing their thing and their kind of situation. And the reason that I changed, it was really a selfish one. I didn't want to do all the work that those people had been doing for all those years. And I also felt that we could upgrade the physical way we were doing conferences. The time before me was a financial disaster because we got snowed out in Wenatchee, and it was, poor Peggy, it was really a bad scene financially for the organization and very close to being bankrupt, I think, at that point. So I had to do something in our term that was going to make us some money and come out in this. So I really thought about it a lot, and I said, you know, I think we need to get out of the school atmosphere for a major conference. I think we need to move this to a hotel scene, to a major city. One, transportation would be easier to get to on the west side. And so I chose Tacoma as where we would go, and that we wouldn't do it at a high school or any school. We would do the conference in the major hotel, which was the Sheraton Hotel, and the conference center, and then use professional venues. We used the Pantages as our major performance site. So this was raised a lot of eyebrows, I know, among some of my board members at that point about changing the idea and moving into a more commercial atmosphere rather than staying in the school atmosphere, which felt very comfortable to most people in this business. So it was a major shift, and luckily, I guess for all of us, it turned out to be a fantastic success. We had a new record of attendance, I think over 1,100 registration at that point. People loved going and hearing groups at the Pantages or the other theater. The whole thing, I can say, turned out to be very, very successful and a financial success. And it got us out of the hole, and it gave us some stepping stones to move on. The other part of that was, as everybody knows, I think I'm called the greatest delegator in the world, and my situation was that I couldn't see myself having all the time to put this together. So we really hired our first executive director, and that Neil Porter actually set up the conference sessions and said all that, and we paid him a small fee, which was the beginning of adding an executive director, because that was my vision down the road, that we needed to hire somebody like Bruce, who took the ball eventually down that road and has made the organization so strong as it is today. Interesting thing, one thing I'll always remember is that I got to conduct my own son. When I got to do the national anthem, my own son was in the orchestra, so it was kind of fun to do that. You know, your father-son connection at that point, because he was in the group at that point. And we did our big concert, our big massive concert, and the PLU big gym, the field house. University, excuse me, not PLU, University of Puget Sound Field House. And that worked out great for doing the concert down there, our big finale concert with all the all-state groups. So that was great. And I just felt very good about, we had turned the corner for WMEA, because we couldn't continue to do what we were doing, either for time element for a president or vice president, and or the kind of facility we were trying to do these in. Well, I think this has been a great development by Bruce. I remember talking Bruce into running for president and saying, you know, Bruce, I've known Bruce since 1960 when and I know his leadership skills, and I know Joe. We've been close friends with him ever since we started the UW together. And I could see this coming. We needed to have an organization that could provide, but you have to do that with staff, and you have to do it with competent people, not just volunteers all the time. So luckily we've been able to develop an organization that truly is a professional growth organization that helps teachers and helps everything that goes on. You can't just do volunteers. And when Bruce and Joe were able to move the organization to a major professional organization. That's been a real step for music in the state. Well, it's become, almost an incredible. I don't know that there's any other professional organization that has had this much growth to it. But look what we do and look who we cover. It's such a wide range. Basically, we cover every teacher in the state. I mean, every elementary teacher should be teaching some kind of music, and obviously all the way through. So it is a wonderful profession, and it's a wide-reaching profession that needs staff and experts to help teachers do it correctly. Well, I think, first of all, we have to always know why we're there, and that is support for students. Because if we aren't helping kids and we aren't helping then music education, we shouldn't be doing it. And we don't want to build an organization just to have an organization. I guess that's my only fear. To build this empire or to build some gigantic structure to create jobs, even though I guess we need jobs in this country, but we need to do programs that really do assist kids and assist teachers for what they're doing. And we're doing that, then that's great. And I know that the foundation that's been started, because one of my fears that I hear around the state, and I still out looking and being in a lot of classrooms, is that we're outpricing the all-state things, for example. We're outpricing the capabilities of schools to send kids to these wonderful, wonderful experiences. And so we've got to be careful that the structure we're building doesn't interfere with that. And having the foundation does to raise money to help students participate is really important. I contribute, I think probably every one of the people in these chairs are contributing to that and should be. Well, I just remember that my mentor, who was Bruce and Joe's mentor too, Bill Cole, said to me, Ken, you have to pay your professional dues. You have to become involved as a leader and just to serve that capacity. He said, you owe that to your profession. And I do that with the umpteen number of high school and middle school and elementary band directors that I have had as students who are now out there. I tell them the same thing. They owe it to the profession to be involved, to be the organizing chairman for their local festival, or being involved with helping organize all-state groups or whatever it is. We need to grow professionally. In our school district, in the Shoreline District, it was so great because one of the things you had to do for an advancement is to show professional growth. And you had to be involved. And I just remember Bill telling me that at my very first few years, that, get involved. And so we all need to do that. We need to do it to support the profession and to support each other. I'd be remiss without saying that Joe and Bruce Caldwell, even though they've been great friends all the years, still deserve a lot of accolades for putting together an organization that does support music and kids. And I know that's at the heart of their thinking, and their daughter is a music educator, and so they know where that's coming from. So I'm very proud of the organization, and I'm just worried about the financial impact all the time on students and schools, making sure that we can still afford to do what we're doing.